And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce our very first speaker, one of my whanaunga from Ngāti Huikoi, over in Kokorarata, just over the peninsula here. His name's Tāmati Cunningham, and this year he's the head student at Kashmir High School. He's passionate about normalising te ao Māori and Māori language and empowering the rangatahi Māori voice. You may have seen him before at TEDx, and he's freed himself up to share with us some whakaaro around his connection back to our taiao, our environment. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Tāmati if he can unmute himself, and I'll hand the reins over to Tāmati. Kei a koe, what?
Ko taupō nui, ko taupō roa, ko taupō piako, ko te haro nui a taupō, te hei Māori ora. Ko mate pani, ko mai te kaura, ko tāni rea, ko marama huikea. Hui kina mai te tātou ke te whare o marikore. Ko tahumata, ko kaumate roa, ko hini te raraku, ko hoikai, ko te roa. Ko tū te huare e tuaki nei, haumi e hui tā ki e. Ko wai au, ko te haupāte ki te mauka, ko kaurata te awa, ko maka whiu te waka, ko tū te huare me te whare tipuna, ko kaitau te iwi, ko kāti hui kai te hapu, ko Cunningham tōku ingoa whānau, ko Tāmati Cunningham tōku ingoa. Kia ora. I know today's topic is about see the change, but I believe that there is a big difference between seeing the change and recognizing the change. Seeing the change is just acknowledging that something has differed from what it was before, whereas recognizing the change is about understanding what has changed and how it can affect its respective environments. Many, if not all of us, are here today because we have recognized the change globally. But first and foremost, we need to look more locally. Together, we need to focus on the small things before we can impact the big things. Mā pango mā whero ka ote ai te mahi. With black and red, the work will get done. This whakatauki speaks about how with persistence and with cooperation, things will get done. It is the people we surround ourselves with, that share our values with, that create the ideas and how we interact with our environment. In the TEDx speech I did last year, I briefly talked about my awa, the Kokorarata awa. My whānau recognised the environmental change and understood how our awa interacts with the land around it, from its at the time eroding banks to the ocean. My whānau knew that this wasn't good enough, and so we had to make a change for the better. Over the time of my life, I've seen my awa come back to life, and the river flow you can see is physically breathing. No weeds to suffocate it, just birds, trees, and fish to let it thrive. The river was just one aspect of the environment. It had a domino effect as we explored and enjoyed providing the land with kaitiakitanga. It also allowed us to embrace whakawhanaungatanga and pass down the knowledge from one generation to the next, as we nurtured the whenua and nurtured us. It is our role to influence others to join us in working together in a common goal, so things can get better. So for those of us coming after us can learn and continue the work that we will no doubt only do. It is a lot to grasp and understand in such a short time. So take the time you need to recognise in yourself what part you can play. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. Kia ora.
Tēnā koe Tāmati, o tira tēnei rā te mihi atu ki a koe, mo i whakawātia nei a koe tēnei o ngā pō. We've got a bit of a rangatahi theme going on